this video, I'm going to show you how to create amazing fake bokeh in Photoshop. So to get the best results from this tutorial, make sure you have an image with low light and it has some light in the background, just like the image we have today. Okay, we're going to be doing this in two steps. The first step is to separate the subject from the background so that we don't have the halo effects when we add blur to the background. So start by duplicating the background image by clicking on Ctrl or Command J. And now to select the subject, we can use the Select Subject feature in Photoshop. So go to Select, then choose Subject. And now that we have the subject selected, you can click here to add the layer mask. Now if you hold Alt or Option and click on the layer mask, you'll be able to see your layer mask in detail, and you can also refine your selection even more by clicking on the Select and Mask button. And from here you can use the Refine Edge Brush tool to enhance your layer mask. So in this case the view is on overlay, and I can also control the opacity of the backdrop. So you can click here to select the Refine Edge Brush tool, and you can use the Refine Edge Brush tool to refine your layer mask and improve any missing areas. Now if you want to restore an area back, you can switch to the brush tool, and then you can use Alt or Option to switch between the plus and the minus. So once your selection is ready, you can go to the bottom and then change the output to layer mask, then click on OK. Now that we have the subject separated on a new layer, we need to remove it from the background image. So we're going to be using the selection from the layer mask. So click on Ctrl or Command and click on the layer mask to load this selection. Now go to Select, Modify, and then Expand. In this case, I'm going to expand the layer mask by 20 pixels. Click on OK, and if you click on Q, you'll be able to see the expanded area better. Now we can switch to the brush tool, and then you can paint on top of any area that is missing. Now click on Q again to get back to the selection. Make sure your background image layer is selected, then go to Edit, Content Aware Fill. Here you can let Photoshop automatically fill this area with information from the background, and it also doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to add blur to the background. Now in the output, change it to Duplicate Layer and then click on OK. Now you can click on Ctrl D to deselect, and now we have the subject separated from the background and we are ready to add blur. So before we apply the blur, right click on the duplicated layer and then convert it to a smart object. Now go to Filter, go to Blur Gallery, and then choose Tilt Shift. So in the Tilt Shift filter, anything inside these two lines will be in focus, and anything in between will be out of focus. You can move the first lines to expand the focus area, and you can also move the dashed lines to add the transition. In this case, we want all of the background to be out of focus, so we need to move the focus area outside of the canvas. You can also increase the amount of blur to see a little bit better. Now to add the bokeh effect, we can do that using the effects panel at the bottom by increasing the value of the light bokeh slider. If the light bokeh slider is not giving you the results that you want, that means you need to increase the light range using this slider at the bottom. So everything between these two control points is the amount of light that the bokeh is going to be visible in. So to add more bokeh effect, all you need to do is to increase the range of the light. And in this case, if I increase the range too much, you can see that it's also starting to be visible in the sky. Obviously we don't want that, so I'm gonna bring it back until it becomes invisible from the sky. You can also introduce more color to the bokeh using the bokeh color slider. And now all you have to do is to mix and match the values between the light bokeh and the light range to get the results that you need. So as you can see, this is with the bokeh effect and this is without it. And now if you move the blur slider, you will see how the bokeh effect is reacting with the blur value. So in this case, I'm going to keep the value to about 100 pixels. Then you can click on OK to apply the changes. And this is before and after. So that's how to easily add fake bokeh in Photoshop. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on upcoming tutorials like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.